Molly, would you like to go bye-bye? You want to go bye-bye? Well, hi there. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you had a very Merry Christmas and that you're well on your way to a Happy New Year. Well, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants in this one, so today's video is going to be a variety of things. Right now, I'm heading to Walmart to pick up my grocery order, so I'll be sharing this haul with you. Then we'll go over my meal plan for the week. Today, we're having crunchy tacos, and I'll show you how to make a keto cheeseburger soup. Then if there's time left, I'd love to throw together a breakfast casserole to have on hand, and somewhere along the way, I'll throw in a garden update. If any of that sounds interesting to you, I hope that you'll choose to stick around and spend a little bit of your day with me. Okay, so we made it home from the grocery store, and I'm going to take all of this out of the bag and show you what I got. But I have one question that I hope someone can answer for me. And that is, whenever you place an order, why do they put one thing in a bag? Look, this is one package of bacon, and here I have one package of sausage. Here is one block of cheese. Most of these bags here only have one item per bag. Why do they do that? Okay, so here's the haul. I have it all laid out, and it's really not too much considering I haven't been to the grocery store for regular groceries since, well, I'm going to say that last video that I did, and if you missed that, I'll link it up above. But for the whole month of December and actually part of November, I've just been using what I have on hand other than just running and picking up some fresh things like produce and dairy items. So again, it's not a huge haul. I'm just filling some gaps and trying to get back into my regular weekly routine. Another thing that I've been trying to do is get rid of some of the things that I have in my freezer, because right now they are filled completely and it's hunting season. My husband has already gotten 2 deer, and it was getting a little scary because we almost couldn't fit it into the freezer. And now there's 2 hogs currently soaking in a cooler in the garage, so I really need to start using up all of my freezer meals and some of this backup meat and frozen produce and things that I have going on in my freezers. And that's actually on my to-do list for this week, is to just empty all of the freezers and reorganize, because I know there's some big chunks of meat out there that I think I would rather just go ahead and grind up and use it in place of hamburger meat. But anyway, that's for another video. Let's go ahead and jump into this haul. Okay, so I'm going to start right here in the middle. The only frozen items that I have is this bag of Bird's Eye Steamed Fresh Super Sweet Corn and a bag of Great Value broccoli. This is just for some side dishes, of course. Next up are these little Baby Bella whole mushrooms. I plan on making some smothered pork chops this week. That's just where you slice up some mushrooms, a can of cream of mushroom soup, and make like a gravy to put over the pork chops. Then I have 1 cucumber here that I'm going to add to some salads for lunch. Some organic bananas. I haven't had bananas for a while, so I'm ready to get back into that habit. Here's a little bag of baby spinach to add to those salads, and also anytime that I'm making like spaghetti or any kind of pasta sauce, I like to toss in a handful or 2 of the baby spinach. Speaking of salads, here is some romaine. This isn't the kind that I usually get, but it's what Walmart had available, so it'll work for this week. And then finally, I have a 5-pound bag of russet potatoes. And next up, I have an 18-pack of some extra large white eggs, and they all seem to be intact, so that's always a good thing. Here's a 1-pound block of sharp cheddar cheese. One of my goals is to start shredding my own cheese, so we'll see how that goes. And I actually got a new shredder that I've been seeing on a lot of YouTube videos. I know Fallon at Moss Family TV and Mandy in the Making. I see them using the shredder. Let me get it and I'll show you what it looks like. Now this isn't the exact one that they have, and I'll link this one down below. I love the color of this. And this brand comes in a lot of different colors, but this one I think they call mint green, but it looks more like a seafoam green. And it comes with all of these different little plates that you put inside of here. You just unscrew this end here. Let me show you. Pull the handle off, this slides out, and you just replace these little plates depending on what you need to use it for. It juliennes and shreds, and I don't know what all it does, but there's a lot of little attachments there. But to put it together, you just screw the handle back on. It has this little push thing here to push your cheese and stuff down in there, and you turn the crank. I'm sure that if you watch any kitchen videos at all or food videos, you've seen this before. But I'm so happy to have it, and I'm really excited to start using it. Okay, so moving on. Let's move over here. I have some Jimmy Dean sausage. I have been craving some sausage balls, so that's what I got this for. And if you watch my videos, you know that every grocery haul that I get, I always get a package of bacon and a roll of sausage, whether I need it or not. So these are two things that I always keep stocked in my freezer. Okay, and here's some pork chops. It's just a little package. It looks like there's 3 in there. For anyone that's curious, the prices right now on these pork chops is $4.27 a pound, and this is just barely over 1 pound. So 3 little pork chops, bone in. I like the bone in whenever I'm frying them. So that's going to go in that smothered pork chop that I plan on having maybe tomorrow. Okay, now the final meat product that I have in this order is chicken, and this was actually $2.57 a pound. No, it's $3.42 a pound, and I got just a little over 2.5 pounds, so it's $8.79 for this package. Looks like 3 fairly good sized chicken breasts in there, and these are the boneless, skinless ones. And what I was going to do with this is I have a leftover cheese ball from Christmas, and I looked it up, and cheese balls are actually good for 2 weeks. Everywhere that I looked, it said 2 weeks. And tomorrow, today's Wednesday, so tomorrow is the 14th day. So I'm gonna taste it, see what I think about it, and if I still feel okay with my cheese ball, I thought about cutting these and stuffing some of that cheese ball inside, and then maybe rolling it and baking it on a sheet pan. I don't know. I just hate to see the cheese ball go to waste because we had so much food on Christmas Eve. My cheese ball barely even got touched. And it has cranberries and pecans and cream cheese and goat cheese and chives. And I just think that would taste really good on some chicken. So depending on how I feel about it, this may be for today. I'm going to check that cheese ball out. So if any of you have any recipes for leftover cheese ball, please let us know down in the comments, because I'm sure there's a lot of people around this time of year that would love to hear about it. All right, and now I just have my Mrs. Baird's, which is a local Texas bakery, sandwich bread. And I'll tell you, that is another goal of mine, is to start making my own bread. I've made white sandwich bread before. I've tried to make every bread possible that we use on a regular basis just so that I have that skill down. But I want to start incorporating these into a regular weekly or bi-weekly routine, or at least a little more often than what I'm doing it now. Maybe having this channel will hold me more accountable and we can start filming some things like that. So again, that's for another video. So along those lines, I have been requesting a Pullman loaf pan for at least 3 years now, and they've been completely out of stock. And this year, for the first time, they did come into stock, and so I got one. And if you're not sure what that is, let me grab it and I'll show you. So this is a Pullman loaf pan. It comes with the lid on top that you can slide open. It has a non-stick surface. You just pour your bread in there, you close the lid on it, and it makes it perfectly rectangle like a regular loaf that you would buy in the grocery store. Now these are a little bigger than a regular loaf pan, so I'm gonna have to do some research and some testing to come up with a Pullman loaf pan recipe for white sandwich bread. And whenever I do, I will definitely share that with you here on the channel so that maybe we can all learn how to make our own sandwich bread together. If you're interested in this and you don't have one, or maybe you have one and you need another one, I'm gonna link this down below, because now is the time to get them, because like I said, I have been requesting this loaf pan for 3 years and I just now got it. Okay, and now moving on down to the other end here, we have some pantry items. I only have 2 cans of Campbell's tomato soup. I try to keep a certain level of everything in my pantry, and I only needed 2 more to fill the gap, so that's why I only have 2 cans of tomato soup. Same for this buttery homestyle Idaho and potatoes. These are my favorite if you're not gonna make them from scratch. These have such a good flavor. So I only needed 1 more of those. And I have a jar of the kosher dill baby holes. These are really good. I love Vlasic pickles anyway. And I eat these in spurts. Sometimes I eat them every day, and then several months will go by, and then I get on a kick of wanting pickles again. So here they are. For the non-food items, I have another big jug of vinegar. I try to keep at least 2 or 3 of these on hand all the time. Of course, I use it in the kitchen. I clean my produce with this. I add it to my laundry. There's just so many different uses for vinegar, and I use it all the time. So this is the 1 gallon jug of white vinegar. And Crest Sensitive is back in stock. This is something that I haven't been able to find for probably a couple months. I don't know if it was October or November, but it was definitely before Thanksgiving. I haven't been able to find my regular toothpaste. Well, I was so happy to see that they actually added it to my order today. And of course, I would not be able to sleep at all if I didn't have my nasal strips. This is the medium clear Equate, the Walmart brand, and I'll tell you, these are just as good, if not better, than the Breathe Right brand, and they're more than half the price. So if you wear these and you haven't tried the Equate, I can tell you they're really good. This is a new item that we started using, and this is the Nivea Men Sensitive Shave Gel. My husband and I both have sensitive skin whenever it comes to shaving, so we've been using this and it's made a world of difference. This is just a little groomer. It's called the Micro Groomsman Lithium Power. It's made by Wall. It's just a good little trimmer to have on hand, and the one that we had broke, so it's got a little eyebrow trimmer, a little I don't know, kind of like this is good for trimming up your beards. And then of course here's the nose thing. I don't know, it's just something that we've always had on hand whether we use it or not, and the one that we had broke, so here it is. Okay, so now that the groceries are put away, I thought I would review with you what some of my meal plan ideas are for this week. First of all, I have spaghetti and meatballs, and I do have a video on my homemade meatball recipe. Super simple to make. If you haven't seen that, I'll be sure to link it down below too so that you can go check that out. You don't have to dirty up a skillet. You just put it on a sheet pan, toss them in the oven, and they come out perfect every single time. So after the spaghetti and meatballs with salad, I have the crunchy tacos with soup that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And as soon as I finish talking here, we're going to go ahead and jump into that. And let's see, I have the pork chops with the mushroom gravy, and I'll probably make those mashed potatoes and some corn with that. Then I have the chicken that I need to figure out something to do with. If I don't use the cheese ball idea, I'm gonna have to decide pretty quick what I'm gonna do about the chicken. And then I have the smoked sausage, potato, and green bean, one pot meal that I might make one day this week. And let's see, I really can't remember what else I had planned. Anyway, I hope that that gives you a few ideas of some meals that you can add to your meal plan. If not this week, maybe you can find some time to watch these videos and add them to next week, because they're all really super simple. Now, let's get started on that soup, because if we have time, I want to try to throw together a breakfast casserole that I can have on hand for the next couple of mornings. Okay, the first ingredient you're gonna need for this soup is an onion. Any onion will do. I just happen to have this purple onion on hand, so that's what I'm using. And we're not huge onion eaters in this household, so as you can see in this video, I'm just using a very small amount. But you add what you enjoy to your recipe. We're not currently on the keto diet, but my husband was on the diet a couple years ago, and this is just one of our favorite recipes that stuck around. Now I'm choosing to dice my onions very small. Again, that probably plays into the fact that we're not huge onion eaters, but you, again, could dice them up, cube them, however you prefer. I'm choosing to use ghee to saute the onions, but you can use whichever healthy fat you enjoy. And I want to mention that I have a totally separate video on this recipe. I'll be sure to link it up above, and I'll also, if you stay until the very end of this video, I'll have it linked at the end and you can click on it there and go watch it. That video is more focused on the recipe and may answer a few questions that you may have, and it goes into a little more details. Now once you have the onions sauteed until they start to become translucent, you can go ahead and add 1 pound of ground meat. In this instance, I'm using venison, but you can use ground beef, ground turkey, any kind of ground meat that you prefer. And we're going to go ahead and salt and pepper that. Once it's all brown and your onions are mixed all through, the next ingredient we're going to add is an undrained can of Rotel. The original recipe calls for bell peppers. I'm not crazy about bell peppers, so I have always substituted about a half a bag of green beans. Next, add a 32-ounce box of beef broth. You could use vegetable broth. And then our final ingredient is going to be 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. I put mine in the microwave for about 30 seconds to get it softened up really well before adding it to the soup. You're just going to want to mix that up, break it apart the best that you can, and then we're just going to put a lid on this soup and bring it up to a second boil. Once you reach a good rolling boil, you can reduce your heat down to medium-low and let this simmer for 30 to 45 minutes. The goal is to make sure that all of your vegetables are tender. I'm turning mine to the lowest heat setting because I still have a couple hours until I'm ready for dinner. But I do need to take the frozen taco meat out of the freezer so that I'll have that ready in time. Well, now that we've got that taken care of, it looks like I have plenty of time to start this breakfast casserole. And the first thing I'm going to do is cube up some bacon and get it browned. For those of you who may not have met her yet, this is Molly. She's my grand dog. What are you looking for? Do you like it when Mama cooks? Huh? Oh, yeah. Are you a good girl? That's what I thought. Okay, so back to the bacon. This has to be the easiest breakfast casserole there is. Basically, all you're going to do is choose a meat, whether it's bacon, breakfast sausage, you could even use smoked sausage if you want to, turkey bacon. The sky's the limit whenever it comes to this recipe. But choose your meat, brown it up, and then we're just going to mix it in with the eggs. Okay, so now that my bacon is all crispy and ready to go, let's move on to the eggs. Now I've decided to put this in an 8x8 casserole dish, so I'm only going to be using 6 eggs. But if you want to make a 13x9, I would recommend using 10 to 12 eggs in your recipe. Now we're just going to season that up with some salt and pepper. I add anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of each, depending on how many eggs you use. If you're just using 6, I would recommend about 1/4 teaspoon to start. If it's a larger batch, maybe 1/2 teaspoon. It's up to you and your taste. Now just go ahead and add your meat to the eggs. Then we're going to add some cheese. To the smaller version, I'm adding about 1/2 cup here. If you're doing a 13x9, I would suggest going ahead and adding a whole cup. And here's the fun part. You can add any kind of vegetable to this that you like, whether that's potatoes, broccoli, onions, peppers. The sky's the limit on this recipe. You can't mess this up. I'm choosing to just add some shredded hash brown potatoes. Now that you have all of your ingredients combined, go ahead and grease your casserole dish. I decided to go ahead and bump it up a size to a 9x9. That'll be just fine, it's just going to be a little thinner. Once everything's poured into the dish, just take a few minutes to spread all of your ingredients around evenly. And now top it all off with another half a cup to a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. You're going to pop that into a 350-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Now that it's getting a little closer to dinner time, I need to get those taco toppings ready. And I'm showing you here that I have had this tomato knife in my block for years, and I've never used it. I always just used a very sharp paring knife. Well, if you haven't tried an actual tomato knife or even just a serrated knife, I urge you to give it a try. It makes a world of difference. Don't get too fancy with our tacos around here. Usually it's just tomatoes, lettuce, a little bit of shredded cheese, and some sour cream. I'd love to know, what do you like to put on your tacos? Here's something else that I started doing recently, and that's to put my sour cream in a condiment bottle. It makes it so much easier to put on things like tacos. I was able to find these bottles on Amazon fairly cheap, so I'll be sure to link them down below. And I also want to let you know that I'm going to do my best to link everything that I've used in this video. So if you see something that you like and you can't find a link below, just let me know in the comments section. Now, one tip that I want to add is that when you transfer things into the condiment bottle, be sure to write the expiration dates. Okay, so for like the last 3 nights, our temperatures have been down in the 30s. And Sunday night and Monday night was freezing temperatures, like below 30. And let me show you what my garden looks like now. There's the tomatoes, which is really sad because this one we call the tomato tree was just now starting to produce some tomatoes on it. And you can see there's still, I don't know if I can get back in there or not, but there's still tomatoes on there. And this is the little one here that's been producing for several months now. But we did go in and pick a lot of the tomatoes off, like a whole basket full off of just these 2. And these are the ones that we felt were a little too small, but I may go ahead and pull those off too. And here's my parsley. It's actually doing really good. So here's what's left of my zucchini. And I only got 1 edible zucchini off of all of these plants. They bloomed like crazy. They were producing zucchini, but when they would get 3 or 4 inches long, they would rot right on the vine. So if any of you have any idea what would cause that and can help me out, please let me know in the comments. And then this is what's left of my green beans. I was able to get about 5 or 6 good servings of that. I even gave some to my mother-in-law, so the green beans did pretty good. This is my poor little cherry tomato. And then this tomato here was just starting to bloom, and I think it would have done well, but as you can see, the frost and the cold got them. I was going to cover them, but I've done that before, and it's just as cold under the blanket as it is above, and they always end up looking like this anyway. So we just went ahead, like I said, and picked what we could off of them. And I was ready to kind of take apart this garden anyway and start getting it ready for the spring. So that's my garden update. I'm gonna cut up these green onions to put on the tacos, but I mainly got them to top the breakfast casserole. I like to serve that casserole with a little bit of sour cream, some salsa, and green onions. So when you're making crunchy tacos, do you go the extra step to go ahead and toast them in the oven? I didn't used to, but let me tell you, it makes a huge difference and it only takes 3 or 4 minutes. If the awkward crunchy taco shells aren't your thing and you prefer a salad, try it with Doritos. It's so good. Okay, our breakfast casserole is coming out of the oven just in time to put those taco shells in there. I really wish you could smell my kitchen right now, but hopefully you can see all the cheesy, potatoey goodness in this casserole.
As I'm staying close to the mirror, a lock of gold, a secret smile, little things I remember, plays a hand upon my heart as her, she was a believer. Sometimes I can feel her arms holding me as forever.
Well, it's almost time for my husband to return home from work, so I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. But before you leave, be sure to stick around to the very end where I'll be sharing links to those videos that were mentioned. Also, don't forget to check out the description box down below where I'll be listing the links to the items that we discussed, such as the shredder and the Pullman pan, and I'll go ahead and throw in a few other items that I used in this video. Now, if you saw something in the video that you're interested in that I didn't list, go ahead and reach out to me through messaging or in the comment section, and I'll do my very best to get you that information. Well, I did today's video a little bit different, so if you enjoyed it, the best way to let me know is just to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope that you'll go ahead and take a few seconds to do so now, because I would love to get to know you and hear from you in the future. But for now, I just have to say thank you so much for choosing to spend a little part of your day with me today. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!